So I'm Johan. First of all, before we start, I'm seeing a lot of participants here. So thank you so much for joining this career talk. I hope you'll be able to get a lot from this session. Before we start, I'd like to get to know you. Please, let's use the chat. I'm gonna share my screen, and if you can share in the chat box what your university is, what degree and course you are taking in your career level. So let's get to know each other in the chat box. I feel we have a lot of shy participants here. Come on, guys, it's part of the process. You have to break out from that shyness and be more participative and engage more on these sessions. Thank you so much, Angelica, for starting. Raylene, thank you. So thank you for joining the chat. It's nice to see you. We've been getting a few more here. Okay, hi, Ferline, Charlene. So yeah, thank you so much for joining this session. Really, really appreciate you um, joining the National Virtual Career Super Fair. So as we start, I'd like to introduce myself. So I'm Yohanne. I am from UP Diliman, and I am currently wearing two hats. I look out for the growth and marketing initiatives that we have here at Prospol, and at the same time, look into how we can tap more students in the Philippines and grow Prospol in the Philippines. So, in a more personal note, I am a new mom. I have a very active 1 year old baby and loving and very patient husband. And outside of work, I've started doing jobs or freelance jobs when I was still in college at 17 years old. I was already doing all of the side hustles that you can think of. And I learned a lot of things from there that helped me grow my career to where I am right now. And I am also a huge advocate of productivity and goal achievement. So I hope that in this session, I'll be able to help you with your career goals. And feel free to take advantage of the chat box and the Q&A function to ask a lot of questions. So I'll keep my talk short, so we'll have a lot of time to answer all of those questions later after the talk. So as a quick introduction, at Prospol, we help students get the best start to their career. So we power more than 180 career directories for students and graduates in the Asia Pacific region. So we have a career directory. You might have career directories for your university that might be powered by Prospol. So I'm seeing a lot from UST, Cagayan State University. If you have a jobs board that is like 80-90%, baka that's powered by Prospol. So what the platform really helps you with is it's a platform where uh, you can look for jobs, entry level jobs, internships, career advice articles that will help you uh, learn more and prepare yourself on how you get that interview, how you tweak your CV and stuff like that, and then career events like this. But mainly, what we want to deliver are fresh feed of jobs for entry level jobs, internships, OJT. So I know that the struggle is real when you go to jobs board and then all of the jobs require experience. It's really hard to know where you'll be able, how are you going to apply to these jobs na lahat sila requires experience. So we'll be able to answer that later, how we can help you on that. Another cool thing about the platform is that you will be able to know more about how it's like to work in that role and in that company. So we give you backstage pass by providing profiles like this, interviews, and then also reviews from fresh graduates like you that are actually already working in that organization. So to start the talk, um, how to find a career you will love. I broke this down into 5 simple steps. And these are very actionable steps. I hope that this will be very actionable for you, that you'll be able to apply this in the coming days. And because this career fair is going to be live until 2 p.m. today, it's a good opportunity for you to speak and learn more about, speak with the employers, learn more about what they're looking for, and then apply this, and then apply for the jobs later on. So, tip number one is identify what you are solving for. What do you really want in life, in your career? So, I'd like to share this diagram with you on how you can identify that. First is identify what you love. Second, identify what you're good at. And third, identify what pays well. So there should be a good balance between all of these three factors. So what you love, we all, I think everyone knows na parang yung saying na you don't, if you do what you love, you don't have to work um a day. So that's something that, like, you will automatically thrive when you're doing what you love. Next is identify what you're good at. So the skill set that you have, what do you excel in? That's something that you should also be able to identify. And then last is what pays well. So this is a very tricky and controversial aspect of it, because this will have to be realistic. We all have our life goals, financial goals that we want to meet. But when we say what pays well, we have to be realistic. We have to know what the industry is paying the team members or the employees in our level. So this needs to be aligned to the industry, to our personal career level, and determine what pays well for you. So if, for example, you only identify what you love and what pays well, that's just a dream, because your skill set is not aligned with that. If you're doing what you love and what you're good at, you can be happy, but you can also be poor, which is not very um, sustainable in the long run. And if you are just going to focus in doing what you're good at and what pays well, then at the end you will be able to save a lot, but at the same time you will be unhappy in the long term. So this is the first tip. The next is to assess what you're going to love. This is very important, to be self-aware and assess your values. So I early on pa lang, you need to identify, are you more happy with being challenged? Do you prefer being challenged, or do you prefer being comfortable? Do you prefer or do you thrive with autonomy, or do you like being guided and managed? So these are some of the factors that you need to be aware of, so that when you look for organizations, when you look for a role or a job that you will apply to, you know that it's aligned to your values, because you are self-aware of what these values are and how important these values are for you. So I have this free we have I'm sharing this free personality assessment in below link, so you can also check that out and get that self awareness test. So, number two is identify and know what employers are looking for. So, employers want more than just grades. It's we asked this survey to know what they're assessing during a recruitment process and how important are these skills in their selection decisions. So as you can see, the top ones are really soft skills, communication skills, teamwork, interpersonal skills. So it's really important that you identify and you are aware of these skills that employers are looking for. Once we identify that, how do you now show that you have those skills to employers that you want to work with? So we listed them down into three columns. what employers are looking for, communication skills, teamwork, interpersonal skills, and how do we demonstrate these skills. So now, dito na papasok all of the extracurricular activities. What else can you do to really showcase that you have those skills in your CV and when you apply for the job, when you apply for the role? So here are just a few samples. Take on a leadership role within the college, student society, varsity clubs. Take on roles in sports, uh, varsity, and teams. You showcase your unique hobbies and interests. So there are a lot of things that you can do if you are in your first to third year of college, then you're very lucky because you still have a lot of time. But don't worry if you already have graduated or malapit ka nang gumraduate because this generation is in a very, very lucky position because you have all of the opportunities online for you. So the only limitation talaga is yourself. Even if you go online now, there are a lot of freelancing platforms that you can start applying to really get those credentials of like writing gigs. Get on that platform, get writing gigs to add that skill and to show that you have that skill. Once we have that, we bring it all together and create your CV. So this is what a strong CV looks like. It's very clean, um, aligned yung fonts and everything. But what's really important is how you tell a story through your CV. So we recommend that it's just 10% of your education and 90% are highlighting your skills and your experiences and telling the story to the employer about how the skills would be able to help the organization that you're applying for. Again, as fresh grads, we wouldn't be able to put a lot of mga experience in the field, but you can get a lot of experiences already while you're in college through all of the opportunities around you. Number four is to get yourself out there. So networking, get your foot in the door. 40% or 46% of students get their first employer through networking. 29 through job ads, 12% through universities help, and 13% through others. So how do you use networking to find a graduate job? This is one example. You being here and um, joining career fairs like this is a sample of networking. It doesn't have to be applying for a job right away, but it's you getting used to the world of work, in engaging with employers, joining sessions, kahit sa Q&A. It's a way of practicing for yourself so that when you are in there, you get that opportunity. You already build that confidence because you're so used to hearing from employers, learning more about employers, different employers, and basically just preparing yourself. How do these employers talk? What kind of language do they use? How do you get comfortable in answering the questions they usually ask? So this is very important, and I'm glad that you're doing this step of starting to network and get yourself out there for your career. The next one is to think outside of the box. So I know that we already have our dream companies that we want to join. And I'd like to share that those big companies that we already know of, that's just 20% of employers looking for top talent like you. There are a lot of employers that are looking for fresh graduates that they want to attract in their organization. So I'd like to share why you should consider um, looking for or joining smaller employers like these, because usually smaller employers would often give you one-on-one training tailored to your needs. It's often easier to advance because there's less competition and there's more flexibility to customize your work arrangement, your roles, the jobs and the projects that you're working on. You get to get broader knowledge from everyone working around you because you will most likely have direct exposure to senior leadership, and you will be given immediate responsibility and can see the impact of your work. Unlike with larger employers, usually these are the group the training sessions onboarding are by batch in group. There's a structured hierarchy already, and you one good thing is you already know the career path. Usually with larger employers, you already have that upfront, and you get exposure to larger projects. But that doesn't mean that you'll get to contribute a lot because again, there's a lot of you in the company. Identifying our values, identifying what we are comfortable with, you'll be able to really identify if you are more comfortable with the setup with large employers for guidance, management structure, or you want to be more challenged with autonomy with smaller employers. So that's it. And lastly, just tying it all together, the action steps that you can do right now is again, take the time to think deeply about the type of career you want to pursue. Start getting involved in extracurricular activities and freelance work. Draft your CV, participate more, and practice. Use career events like this to practice your skills and to network and to start applying for jobs in the right career path you identified. This is really important because we don't want to be spending a year or 2 years in our career life just to find out na ay hindi pala ito yung gusto kong gawin. You can find a lot of information on the prospo.com website on ano ba yung ginagawa ng isang cadet engineer, ano ba yung ginagawa ng isang analyst. We would like to give you as much as information as we can to help you make that informed decision if this is the right career path for me. So I think that's it. Thank you so much. I'd like to get back on the chat box and also share what your biggest fear or challenge in looking for a job is. So we still have a few more minutes to answer questions. Thank you so much for joining this career talk, and I hope that you were able to get a lot out of it. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Yohanne, for all your wonderful insights. I can truly relate with the struggle of being on the job hunt right after college and just going through so many employers, going through so many interviews and applications. But definitely, there is a strategy on how we can approach it and how we can do our best to prepare for it. So, all right. So, feel free to use the Q&A portion, the Q&A feature on Zoom. I believe there is already one question sent to us, and I'll read it out loud. So this anonymous attendee asks, I've been on the job hunt for a while now, and I've turned down some jobs that did not align with my goals. Should I adjust my standards or stay true to my long-term goals and keep looking for jobs?
Yes, great question. Thank you to the anonymous person, whoever you are. But again, going back to step number one, it's really aligning your values because the time is really important. It's the only thing that you won't be able to turn back. And it's good if you already have identified early on what your long-term goals are. So what's important is that to be able to achieve that, you make those simple steps now that will take you to that long-term goal. Because if not, if you lower your standards or take something else that is not aligned to your long-term goal, then you will run the risk of one not being happy for short-term happiness, like whatever factor made you accept that job, even if it's not part of your goals. In the long run, you will end up unhappy and will have to look for another job. And the next one is you will run into the risk of wasting that time. So, it's really important that we identify that ngayon pa lang, early on, and then we work every day of our lives to get to where we want to be. Otherwise, it's going to be wasted time and effort for you. So thank you for that question. Do you have other questions?
Yes, thank you for that answer, Johan. I think someone else just chatted. What should I do if I have a lot of experience in a field that does not align with my dream job or dream goal? Can I still include these in my CV?
Yes, that's a really good question because definitely, yes. Again, going back to our tip number two, we identifying what employers are looking for in the job. It's not really yung specific skill set, technical skill set, but even if you take a lot of different jobs in different technical fields, let's say marketing, accounting, writing, there are skills that you will learn along the way from those technical roles that you got or technical skills that you got. So, for example, you're able to communicate well, learn how to communicate well with the client. That's also one skill that you are able to learn out of that role that you took. Even if it's not aligned to what you're applying for right now, you identify what soft skills were you able to get out of those roles that you have previously done. I hope that answers the question. Hope that helps.
Yes, I think it definitely helps. So, another question here. Uh, with my internship coming, and I would like to make the most out of it. There are so many companies offering internships, but I'm not sure how I'll choose a company that really makes the most out of my internship experience. So, do you know how I can choose a company that will take care of me? That's a very good question.
Yes, it's a very good question. And I like that thinking also. I mean, going back to our step one, looking into the values and identifying, balancing what's going to make you happy. Um, it's just research. There, I mentioned earlier, you have the world in your hands with the internet. You have a lot of information. Research is important. And not just researching on different sites, but really trying to identify what is the experiences of other interns that have joined this organization. So in the platform, we have employers where you can look for their day in the life stories, graduate profiles. We interview a lot of students in their roles right now to find out what the experience is as an intern for this company. There are a lot of other websites where you can find information, reviews for these companies. So it's really important that you do your research first and identify, prepare yourself. It's not, there's no employer not perfect. So you just have to prepare for when you read cons, when you read negative reviews or negative information, it's just how you prepare to handle it. How are you going to prepare once you're in the role? Is this something that you can work around with, or is it a non-negotiable for you? So those are the things that you need to consider when you're doing the research and not just reading the all of the information for you. Really assessing and analyzing how is it gonna fit your values and your goals. I hope that answers your question.
All right. Thank you, Johan, for that. And I think we have one final question. I think this is the last question for this Q&A session. This person says, I am an associate degree graduate. Do companies accept those who graduated with my degree? I am afraid that a lot of employers would reject me because of my educational attainment. I am eager to learn and willing to take my time working with them. Do companies prefer bachelor graduates or associate graduates? Thank you.
Yes, another really good question. No, it's also something that you can find out in the interview process. Don't be afraid to ask because you again, the educational attainment. Going back to our CV step three, educational attainment is just 10% of the CV. What you'd like to showcase is the skills that you are able to learn out of that degree. What skills are you going to bring to the table? And how is it going to help the organization? And when you highlight that, when you showcase that in your CV, that is more powerful than having other degrees, other CVs na hindi structured well, not highlighting the skills that they have. Also, another tip is to again ask that in the interview. Once you get that interview, it would be a good opportunity for the employer to know that you're really interested in taking this role. Again, asking questions during the interview would really show the interest of the candidate because you want to know if ano ba yung chances ko? Is there anything that you would like to that I would be able to parang help you with what specific skill set are you looking for in this role that would be able to help me land this job. So ask a lot of questions. Ask about. Don't be afraid to ask if they think you will be a good fit for the role because it's more important that you get to have that chance to discuss your probability in the role during the interview. You'll have higher chances of getting the job because the employer knows that you're really interested for the role and you'll get to say the things that needs to be said for you to be able to prove that you are a good fit for the role. That's something na hindi nila nakikita sa CV. So yeah, hope I was able to help you with that.
All right. Thank you, Johan, for answering all those questions and for giving a lovely talk on how to find a career that you will love. Thank you so much for sharing all your insights. And I'm positive that all the students in this call are very thankful for all of your insights.